Hi, it's Danny Beck. I've got a web channel looking at the wisdom of Jesus in the gospel and the parables. Um, when Jesus has talked about the end times, he's just like the times of Noah. He said they'll be taken and given in marriage, and they had no sense of what was pending until the door of the ark was shut, and then those that were not inside, of course, perished. But he talks about his coming again and his resurrection being like the Jonah, where Jonah was 3 days, 3 nights in the belly of the well. And Jesus said, "The Son of Man will be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth." Now, the interesting thing about Jonah is that Jonah was sent by God to plant some seeds in Nineveh, and the people of Nineveh were in spiritual descent. They were in trouble spiritually, and God was prepared to pass judgment on them. But then He wanted Jonah to give them an opportunity to repent. Later, Jonah was really did not want to go do this. He didn't feel that he wanted to spend his time trying to help these people. In fact, he expected that they were going to be in trouble and that they had a lot to pay for what they did wrong. At the end of the day, though, uh, God they did hear his Jonah, and God withdrew his wrath against them, and God and Jonah are having this conversation. And Jonah's upset over a plant that was offering him shade that got ate by a worm the night before. And he's out there in the heat of the sun, and he's frustrated over this plant. And it's almost like he cares about this plant, but he has no care for the people of Nineveh. He was expecting their demise. So when they were destroyed, God is saying, hey, you got things that really misconstrued. You're concerned about this plant and feel bad about that. But he says, by the same token, he says, I look at the people of Nineveh, God says, and and I can't bring myself to destroy all the people of Nineveh. They do not know their left hand from their right. They don't know their left hand from their right. And that's an interesting passage because it just says that God, this is not an IQ test. Getting into heaven is not an IQ test. Um, you, you don't have to be brilliant, but you definitely have to have a heart um, that's willing to receive God and to try to correct itself. Now, Jonah was enjoying the shade of this plant. Now, Jesus talks about the last days, and he says, when you see all these things pass, know that the time is near, even at the doors. One of the things he says that would pass was when you see the leaves. Yeah, the look at the trees, all the leaves when they first start to bud. Know that summer is nigh, even at the doors. He says, look at the fig tree. See that the growth is just fresh and new. Know that it's nigh, even at the doors. Now, here's what's interesting. Is that if you have the seed, and if you have a mission that God's given you to reach out to, like say the people of Nineveh for Jonah, and what it's saying is that long before the summer comes, God has got working on a plan to send shade. He is sending shade by these budding plants. Know that the kingdom is near, even at the doors, and know that summer is near. He says when you see the buds coming. Now, when you see God's truth working in you, realize those are the buds. The buds are you being uh, prepared to reach out to others and to reach out to them and offer them shade when the time of the summer, the intense heat comes into season. Uh, Look at the tree, the buds when you first see it. Know the summer's nigh, even at the doors. You see the lesson there, and I think that God has taught us that through the whole story of Jonah and the story of the plant that offered Jonah shade, and the story and the lesson about God's mercy and in kindness, and He's not out to judge those who basically don't know their left hand from their right. Well, there's the whole story, and that's the lesson for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like, share, and comment if you would on today's video. Thank you very much. Have a great day.